All right. Now, speaking of schools, one last story for you in this segment. Nicholas Kristof had a fantastic article in the New York Times. It compared costs of different things in Afghanistan. And first, it lets us know how costly this war has been. And he gives you some context. This is amazing. So far, the Afghanistan war has cost more than the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, War of 1812, Mexican-American War, Spanish-American War, all combined, adjusted for inflation. That is amazing. Amazing. Are you telling me that so far what we've accomplished in Afghanistan is the same as what we accomplished in those wars? Who can make that with a straight face? You know that the Revolutionary War in today's dollars only cost $2.4 billion? That's like an afternoon in Afghanistan. $2.4 billion, that's it. And it was obviously by far and away our most important war. Now look, I know it's a different context. We didn't have stealth fighters back then, etc., and we were the insurgents. I get all that. But still, it's mind-numbing to think of how much we've spent in Afghanistan. I'll give you more details. And about what we could have spent it on instead. Do you know that one soldier, one U.S. soldier for 1 year in Afghanistan costs the same as building 20 schools in Afghanistan? Just one soldier for 1 year. And we've got almost 100,000 soldiers there. It makes the head hurt. You know that one cruise missile costs is the same amount of money as 11 schools. Do you know how many cruise missiles we fired in Afghanistan? You know how many schools we could have built with that? You know how much more goodwill we could have done? And forget the goodwill, how much more good we could have done. They say, oh no, it doesn't really matter because if you build the schools, the Taliban just burns them down. That's not true at all. As Kristof points out, CARE, a humanitarian organization, operates 300 schools in Afghanistan. Not one of them have been attacked by the Taliban. Greg Mortensen, the author of 3 Cups of Tea, very famous in the area, has built at least 145 schools in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and many more that are, tents or rented buildings, and the Taliban has destroyed none of them. There is a right way to do this. There is a way to earn the trust of the people of Afghanistan, and it's not with cruise missiles. So more amazing information. Obama, who was supposed to bring us change, right now is spending 6.1% more on defense than at the height of the Bush years. So where's that change? All this money going into the defense industry. They love Obama. They love what's been going on. They love Bush. And all it's, why? Why is Obama doing it? Partly because he doesn't want to get called weak. It's so ironic. He's scared of being called weak, so say, oh yeah, I'll show you, I'll escalate Afghanistan. We have 3 times as many troops in Afghanistan today than when Obama took office. We spent 6.1% more in all of defense spending. When is the spending going to stop? It doesn't make any sense. And there's nothing more bloated than the defense budget. In fact, the guy who agrees with that is the defense secretary, Robert Gates. He pointed out another amazing fact, that the U.S. battle fleet is larger than the next 13 navies combined. So if you take number 2 through number 14 in top navies in the world, combine them, they're still not as large as the U.S. fleet. What do we need this for? He points out, Gates points out, in 2020, we will have 20 times the size of the stealth fighters that China has, at least. Do we really need 20 times the stealth fighter that China has? Maybe we need twice as much. Maybe we need 5 times as much. But we don't need 20 times as much. Why? Because they're making money. They're printing money. Eisenhower, a Republican president, the guy who helped us win World War II, warned us. There's a military-industrial complex. They're only going to get larger. And what they're going to want to do is create more wars so they can get paid more. And what's happened since then? More senseless wars that we didn't need to be in, that got a lot of Americans killed, more escalation. The only answer is always more escalation, and so much of our money sucked into that same defense industry that Eisenhower warned us about. Do you know that there's now, in the top secret or people who have top secret classified information clearance, There's 1.5 times as many people that have that clearance as live in the entire District of Columbia in Washington, D.C. Why? Because it's bloated. Oh, yeah, he needs it, and that defense contract needs it, and that mercenary needs it, and this needs it. So do we get what we need? No, we don't. We just get more and more bloated budgets. One last thing. For what we spend every 5 weeks in Afghanistan, practically every child on our planet could get a primary education. Understand? 5 weeks in Afghanistan. If we took that money, we can give every kid on the planet primary education. Another way of looking at it, actually, let me throw one last fact at you, is for 246 soldiers in Afghanistan, that would pay for the higher education of everyone in Afghanistan. For all of Afghanistan, higher education. They could all go to college. Do you have any idea what that could do for the country of Afghanistan? For just 246 soldiers? The more you look at this defense spending, the more you think, oh, hell no. This has nothing to do with our priorities. This has nothing to do with making us safer. This has nothing to do with accomplishing our mission. And it certainly doesn't have anything to do with spending money wisely. This has to do with how do you suck American taxpayer money out and give it to the defense industry? When is it going to stop? I thought we voted for change. Young Turks.